So another 3 months went by and I still haven't posted an update. Yeah, that's because a lot of things were going on. I more or less, I'm in the last parts of finishing that thing here. The pump I have made to fill little bottles like this one that we want to fill. And we have 3 peristaltic pumps, but the client also wants to be able to heat up and pasteurize the liquids they want to fill. So I have these heating elements out of coffee machines that will heat up the liquid when it comes out of the pump. Now, in order to make this possible, now I'm doing all the wiring. Let me show you with the overhead cam. So in here I will have 3 heating blocks, more or less. One you see is already in. And for each heater, I will have, of course, the 2 power connections here. I will have also up here a temperature sensor, a grounding cable just for safety. And what comes on top of that is, why do I have these things? These are thermostats that are supposed to switch off at 105 degrees C, and they should be normally closed. Let me check that. So if I connect that from here to here, yeah, they are normally closed. And if you heat them to 105, they will open up. So that's an additional safety I have for my heater. If my software goes crazy at 105, I will shut it off. Next step for now is hook up, attach that one here. Actually, I put it on this side here where it touches the heater, and then wire up the power through that, and then this one is done. And then I also need to do the same here. Here's also here we have the temperature sensor missing and the ground connection missing. So I need to do all these wires, because after that I want to put foam all around the heater to make insulation. So I will put PU foam, polyurethane foam, which I have experience from the foam pump, you might remember. And that's what we used in district heating. So you can isolate up to 130 degrees also. So that should be safe. And it will also hold the whole thing in place. Let me first do the wiring, and then comes the challenging part to cast the foam into these chambers to have the proper insulation. But as I said, let's do the wiring first. So you can look a bit from this side, and you can look from up there. So now everything is in place. We have the 3 heaters. the 3 temperature sensors. They will actually, they go over here. Okay, now is everything somehow aligned as I want it? No, well, that goes a bit further in like this. Yeah, this one could go a bit further too. Okay, so now you see we have these 3 flying here just attached by the hoses, and now comes the foam. Now comes the nasty part. In order to be able to pour the PUR foam into it and not glue everything up, because I mean one way would just be cast it in and then you have one solid block and the foam is gluing everything together. But that's not what I try to do. What I try to do is put the foam inside the plastic bag so that it separates the foam from what I'm isolating. And since we are going to higher temperatures, I took a special plastic bag actually that is made to grill your chicken in the oven. So it's a special plastic. And I'm curious how I can make that happen. Now, I need, and they say it's a tube. So let me get a slice of this. Unfold it somehow. Yeah. Okay. So that is the tube I'm going to use. And I want to make it a U going underneath here. So, and of course we start with one. We're not gonna do all 3 today, or not all the 3 at once for sure. So I want, of course I don't want to destroy it, so I want to be kind of gentle. Of course, it would have been smarter to put first the plastic in and then the heaters. But now that my heaters are in, I'm not gonna take them out again. It was hard enough to get them in. Yeah, that's more or less what I wanted. Now let me check what happens if I blow it up. If I inflate it. And that's about how I want it. I will pour in the foam into here, pour the foam in and let it expand all around my heater. Very curious if that works, but we'll see that. But that's not something I'm going to do in here. I just don't have the space and I want to avoid the mess. So I will take a place where I have more space and I can roll out a big piece of plastic to avoid catastrophes. So now ready for action. Let me take you out of here. So I'm invading the corridor here. That's my large plastic I will need. My machine. All the wires. A and B components. And I have marked my plastic cup with 2 lines for the 2 components, so I know the right quantities. Last but not least, disposable gloves, because that stuff is nasty, I know it for sure. It's one of the reasons I gave up on the foam pump is once you mix that stuff, you don't get rid of it. You can scratch it off, but there's no solvent able to dissolve it. It goes everywhere because it's foam, so it's nasty stuff. So what I wrote on the bottle, that's the 55%, and that is 45%. So let's start with the 45 then. That's about it. And stuff has a tendency to crystallize, so it locks up your color. And I'll mix about 1 deciliter. So the volume I want to fill is around a liter, and it goes about 1 to 10, so it blows up, it increases its volume by tenfold. So that's why I will start with 1 deciliter, and that should give me about 1 liter of foam to fill all the gaps. Let's see that. So, finally open. So curious to see what happens. A mixing stick. So, see, nothing happens right now, but if I start stirring it, let's see what happens if I pour that into here. Luckily, it's still pretty cold, so the reaction takes a while. Gives me more time. So, yeah, it's really slow. And now you hear the crackling a bit, so that's where the reaction gets started. And I really hope that then it will like expand on the bottom first and then go up left and right and really push the plastic into all corners and make me a nice foam shell all around my heating element. Oh, now it starts coming. Yeah, we see it coming up. It's coming. You see that? And now I want to try to contain it down so that it really pushes in all corners. Wow, you see how that is warm. Really want to keep it down so that it really pushes in all corners and makes a well closed. Yeah, and it pushes. I can't hold it anymore. It comes out everywhere. I mean, it can cut off the excess on top after that. Worked better than I thought originally. I was really scared of making a huge mess everywhere. Well, see, that's the leftovers. Try to clean my mixing stick so I can reuse it afterwards. Yeah, and it starts solidifying. Okay, good. Yeah, but I think I can repeat that another 2 times. At least prepare the plastic to pour it in. I think the other 2 I will do them just in one shot, because now that I see how well it works. When I'm finished, when it's dry, I can actually remove this back wall here. Could remove the back wall, and then I would see how well it has filled everything below that. As I know that foam, it really has the capacity to expand into all little cracks and notches, so it should fill the volume pretty well. Yeah, now I see it coming up on the opposite side. Let's see what I wanted. I wanted it to come back up on the other side. I poured it in here. I hoped it was distributing on the bottom and then coming up. And I think on this side I have kind of a gap. So I have to figure out how I do that. And this one over here is now rock solid. That's actually what I wanted because it's gonna hold my heaters in place with no thermal connection to the housing. Because I thought of many ways to hold this thing in place, but it's difficult to not build a bridge where the heat is coming up. Yeah, but see, that one's bad. I'm unhappy with that. Now here, of course, I need to cut it flush with the cover or my cover won't fit on it. I should have put in the angles on top here because now I will have to cut the foam in order to bring the angle in. But yeah, lesson learned. I mean, worst case, I can start over, right? I have everything I need. I can give it a second try. I think I give it more time to solidify and then I can look into it better. We'll see later the moment of truth. Now let's open the back cover and see how everything looks inside here. It's this one. And last one. Now I can. Okay, this one is bad. These two are nice. I'm curious. Wait a second. If I fill in a little bit of foam into this pocket here, could probably fill the rest as I wanted it. Filled. Yeah, that one is a bit eccentrical too, but yeah, it is what it is. Unless I rip everything out, but I think I can fix it. Let me try to fix it, and the worst case, I will redo it later. So we have this machine, right, with the 3 pumps, and on the left will be this cover here, where I have a system where I can go up and down for the screen. The screen will be in here, and so it's adjustable. If you're sitting, you can put it vertical. If you're standing, you put it horizontally. You can put it in all directions. Oh, look. Meantime, we have here the foam coming out. Make sure to keep it down a bit so it shows the gaps down here as it should. Yeah, now I can't hold it anymore. I'm curious how big this mushroom will become up here. But I must admit, much less mess than I originally envisaged. So it's not that bad. Now I just have to trim off the excess, but I let it harden properly first. And yeah, see you next time when we put that thing into service. I will finish the wiring, put in the electronics. Electronics board is coming next week. And so I have to build the electronics board and test everything.